Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host Shakaama. This is a message directed at black men and black men specifically. I just want you to wake up, really. Let me run the scenario by you and see if you understand how the game is being run through you or at you or towards you or whatever. So we have the feminists, and the feminists have taken control over our language, our English language, to the point where men cannot speak as men any longer, right? And in response to that, we have the white men's rights activism, men going their own way, pickup artists, what have you, right? Here's the deal. For white people, it's okay to be single. It is okay to be single. What am I talking about? For white people, it's okay to be single. What does Shakaama only care about? If you don't know, Shakaama only cares about money. Shakaama only cares about your money. Shakaama only cares about you being successful. And that actually applies to everybody, but it applies to black people specifically. I'm going to say this as plainly as possible. You can go look it up. You don't need anything special to understand this. Here's the game. Let's get black people to stay single. Single black men make almost nothing compared to single white females, single white males. Now, here's the crazy part. All of those divorce statistics are a complete lie. After years of me promoting that the divorce rates are up, I finally went and had the sense to go and actually look at the stats. You know, I always talk about how they manipulate stats, manipulate numbers. And in fact, the divorce rate is anywhere near 50%, 40%, 30% or anything like that, right? It's not even that close. What they do is they take a slice of married versus divorced and they just keep doing that. So you can have people who have been divorced 10 times be counted 10 different times. Now, they already know that once you get a divorce, it is more than likely that you will get another divorce. And if you've been divorced 2 times, you probably will never stay married ever, and you will end up single. For white people, that's fine. But my point was, this divorce rate is a complete lie. There are a lot of people who are married, and they stay married, and they're white. Now, young black men, you know the stereotype of marriages for white people. You know that stereotype? And you know the opposite of that saying, that a marriage is not for black people? If you have such a saying, you should know full well that they are attacking the black family. Do you know before Martin Luther came onto the scene that black people were the most married in the nation out of all groups? The most. Here's the deal. If they can get you all to stay single, black men, black women, they've won. Blacks do not make that much money single, but blacks who get married make 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times what single black people make. That's even including all of those wealthy, rich, single black people, entertainers and what have you. It's a game and it's being run all over you. Let's keep black people single. Let's promote this gender war in the black community. There is no gender war in the black community. These lesbians that you see, these feminists that you see, these black man-hating women that you see, they are such a small percent of the black community. They're not even a percentage. Literally, you can count them. When it's so small that you can count them, it doesn't even reach the point that it's actually called a statistic. Those women do not represent black women. No more than the hoochie mamas, the ratchet black women, represents all black women. Black people are not poor. They're not criminal, like all the white people want you to believe. White people commit way more crime, especially violent crime. Violent crime is a white thing. Way more crime, way more welfare, way more food stamps. White people benefit from all of the outreach and the social safety network. White people benefit. Do you really think that they're going to hand out money to black people? Even poor black people? Even black people in need? No, none of that applies to black people. I know the news wants to tell you that that's all, it all applies to black people. The cops are shooting black people. It doesn't apply to black people. Cops shoot white people 10 times more. There's no black and black crime. White on white crime is more than all of the other minorities all put together. That includes black, Latino, Native American, Asian, although Latino is not a race. White on white crime goes completely unreported because the number is so staggering. White single motherhood, it is a pandemic. It's an epidemic in the nation. Single black female motherhood doesn't even compare. None of this stuff compares. It's not even comparable. There's 6 white people to every 1 black person. Please, anytime you hear a stat or anything like that, understand that you're a minority of a minority. There is no number that you can even start quoting about white versus black. It doesn't even compare. When you have a 6-to-1 ratio, the 1 ratio part there's no comparison. Remember that, 6-to-1. There is no black gender war. There is no black on black crime. There's for that matter, there's no Latino crime. There's no Asian on Asian crime. There's no Native on Native American crime. What do I mean by that? It doesn't even compare as a stat. Do you know more black people die in car accidents than any black on black crime? More black people die from home accidents than any black on black crime. They want you to think that there's something wrong with black people, so they say there's this tremendous amount of black on black crime. It is a lie. It is a goddamn lie. But you know what? More white people die from car accidents than white on white crime. There is no black versus police wave killing spree. Police shoot and kill white people 10 times more. That means, remember I said there's 6 white people to 1 black person? That means that police are having a field day on white people, but it goes unreported. Of course it goes unreported. But you know what? More white people die in car accidents on a daily basis than the yearly amount of police shooting and killing white people. But Shakaama, I have to be fearful of something. Shakaama, I have to think badly of some other group. Because I didn't apply myself in life, I have to make sure that I think black people are poor, degenerate, and criminal. Meanwhile, your brother's in jail for meth. Your sister has 3 children from 3 different fathers. Your white sister. I'm not saying we should all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but most of the stuff that you hear about black people, 99%. And this is why I don't get down with Steven Crowder or the guy who does the rebel media or whatever. I don't get down with those people because all they do is repeat the goddamn media, which is funny. On one side of their mouth, they're talking about the media is wrong. The media is covering this up. The media is a lie. Blah blah blah. But on the same other side of their mouth, they're talking about, well, this is why you have such non-graduating black boys. No, that data is wrong too. You know why that data is wrong too? Because you have a systemic function of school to do stuff like, ready for it, hold black boys back. That's a stat that you can actually quote. More black kids are held back or put into special needs classes than any other group per capita. Of course, you cannot compare 6 white people to 1 black person, but you can go and say, why is it 5 out of 10 black kids are held back or put into special needs? There seems to be a systemic thing. Something's going on systemically, especially black boys. There's something going on. There's something that we just can't put our finger on, but we know that there is a pool around here somewhere. Something's going on. Is it that you have white teachers, white female teachers who are threatened by black male, even if the black male is 6 years old? Has the media worked its mojo on white female school teachers to such a degree that she's afraid of 6-year-old Kwame? I was surrounded by about 7 young kids yesterday. So the one kid is mean to all the other kids. He pushes them around and says, calls them names, kid names. And so finally, I said, "You're mean." He goes, "I'm not mean." And the other kid said, "He's not mean." I go, "He's so mean, he has you afraid to call him mean. He is, hands down, the meanest kid on the block. Why will you push your little sister? You're supposed to protect your little sister." Now, of course, we don't have, I guess, trained adults. I've been to teaching. I got some credits in teaching, right? They don't teach you child psychology. They don't. They really do not. Why? They're just teaching you English. They're just teaching you grammar. They're not teaching you that 6-year-old Kwame has his own personality. He has his own brain. And Kwame is different from Shaniqua. And Shaniqua is different from both Kwame and Bobby, right? And we're expecting this white female teacher to somehow identify and understand and understand the culture. No, it takes a special white woman to understand that sort of stuff. And that's not being mean, that's being truthful. That means that the woman herself has to have decided to dedicate some sort of time in her life to understand, first of all, black culture, number one. And I don't mean those stupid white people coming up with the word Ebonics. Ebonics is not black culture. We are black Americans. We're American first more than anything else. We don't have Ebonics. That's white liberals coming up with a word to try and explain away, number one, their lack of understanding.